I think that it's a new field. It's computer science that seeks to perform and mimic tasks that require physicians and humans. The applications in CV medicine, though, are developing rapidly, and I predict they're going to transform cardiology over the next decade. The AI systems right now are designed to do a number of things: enhance patient care, improve cost effectiveness, reduce readmission and mortality rates, and then use machine learning algorithms to improve diagnosis and prediction of outcomes. And we'll talk more about that as we go. How much of this is really, hype? Is this just like, these great ideas, but it's not going to be great in terms of practice? I mean, we're talking about advanced analytics mostly when we talk about artificial intelligence. Is it a fad, or can machines really learn and self-correct? Well, we'll see. I mean, there are perceived risks of artificial intelligence. In big data research, surveys were done by PricewaterhouseCoopers. If something, here's one of the 47% of people said if something unexpected is found, don't trust robots to make decisions. 38% said that we need the human touch when it comes to healthcare. 36% only a human healthcare professional can make the right decisions. And 30% said we don't understand the technology enough if it can benefit healthcare. So there's a lot of skepticism about artificial intelligence. If you wonder though about the market and in terms of how much the investors are speaking, then look at $600 million invested in artificial intelligence in 2014. Next year, the number will probably rise over $7 billion in terms of R&D. If we look at where is this research happening, China mostly, U.S. next, and then down the list of European nations. But it's important to see how much China is investing in artificial intelligence. We hear about artificial intelligence because of the patents that have grown in terms of wearables and data sharing, and all sorts of the kinds of wellness sort of things. And thinking about the new Apple Watch, which measures heart rate. It does a 2-lead electrocardiogram. It now measures pulse oximetry, blood oxygen. And there's a new device that's developed in America where you'll be able to put your finger on soon on the phone or on your iPhone or on an Apple Watch in the future that will record your blood pressure, allegedly better than any sphygmomanometer currently does. So we're moving, except for body weight, we're moving to have almost all of the things that we typically were trying to monitor in terms of cardiovascular disease for people with chronic conditions with new devices that are becoming increasingly amazing and are using artificial intelligence to interpret more and more complex conditions. The corporate benefits are go beyond labor substitution. So the idea is this is going to replace people, it's going to be cheaper, but actually the corporate benefits are huge. And in the areas of in automotive manufacturing and pharmaceutical manufacturing, in marketing, and in the oil and gas business, the corporate benefits are huge. But that will change in healthcare as well over time, where it's not just labor substitution, it's actual better performance. The challenges in CV medicine that AI is addressing now is higher costs of prevention and treatment, improving prevention, lowering the cost of therapeutics for chronic conditions, reducing overutilization, reducing variation in quality and outcomes, improving outcomes in complex cardiovascular disease with multiple genetic, environmental, behavioral factors, and then big data analyses for recognition of heterogeneous syndromes and for image recognition in cardiovascular disease. This is coming. Deep learning, I'm not going to spend too much time on all this, but machines are learning from their quote mistakes and improving on their quote successes. So over time, we're teaching machines are actually learning. And while this is not yet as complex as the human brain, it is absolutely starting to have major results. I want to talk about the potential in cardiovascular medicine, but I want to just mention that the ignorance of the challenges overshadow the potential impact. I think in the very near future, AI is going to move us toward precision cardiovascular medicine. I'll talk a little bit more about that. This is recently from, at the American Journal of American College of Cardiology, JACC. This is a central illustration of what artificial intelligence is doing in cardiovascular medicine. It's novel therapeutics are being determined, precision disease stratification, integration of multi-omic data, extension of the physician's efficiency and efficacy, a continuous remote monitoring and diagnostics in patients who will benefit from that. And I mean continuous. This is like all the time monitoring. And then optimization around resource allocation. So these are the basic functions right now. They're going to affect clinical practice, also population health, but research and development significantly as well. The pillars of healthcare democratization: intelligent computing and artificial intelligence, data sharing and interoperability, which we don't do very well right now. We are not, we want to be interoperable, but we're having a lot of trouble getting there. A lot of it is commercial risks of people do not want to share data, and they think it's a loss of potential income. But there's also the cybersecurity, privacy, and safety issues. Here's a US company called WebShield that has developed means of creating interoperability to bring together all sorts of data around the needs of social determinants, medical determinants, electronic health record data, and many other sources of data, pharmaceutical, laboratory, and so forth. I'm on the board of this EP3 Foundation, which is actually working around artificial intelligence to try to make sure that we're protecting people's privacy, and at the same time that all this work is going on. Even in nutrition and public health, there are new ways that artificial intelligence is actually having a major influence on helping people improve their outcomes in a variety of diseases, particularly in diabetes, in terms of using AI to actually improve people's dietary habits. Transformative AI is a company I sit on in their advisory board. This company is currently operating in Washington, D.C. and San Francisco. It tracks all the monitored patients in a dozen large hospitals in the US. It can track 1,000 patients at a time in a hospital setting, in an outpatient setting. It's tracking all the monitoring of patients. It can predict accurately when there's likely to be an episode of ventricular tachycardia that could progress to ventricular fibrillation, notifying nurses and doctors to be on the scene before that occurs. Now, all of us know that despite all of our improvements in resuscitation, that if somebody goes into ventricular fibrillation and has an arrest, that our results in terms of saving the patient are not great. This is a prevention strategy using AI that actually tracks, as many as 1,000 patients at once to warn against an impending ventricular fibrillation syndrome. Now, the National Cardiovascular Data Registries, I had the privilege of developing NCDR when I was at ACC. We have data over 200 million patient records in the NCDR, virtually all of the inpatient data in the United States and increasingly more of the outpatient data. And we're using that for research, for analytics, and now we're applying artificial intelligence to the NCDR. A company called HealthPals, based in Stanford and San Francisco, is actually using analytics within the NCDR to help doctors help their patient in front of them with complex information, to help them look at the patient in front of you and compare that to maybe 10 or 20,000 patients with similar cardiovascular personal data and also even genetic data. So we're using this artificial intelligence to actually improve care at the point of care by tracking what happened to thousands of other patients with similar clinical and phenotypic circumstances. Is there a market for this? And HealthPals looks at what happened with some of the other large companies that out there. It's a huge marketplace with billions of dollars in terms of the future. Think about Flatiron, which was now 1.9 billion acquisition, and that's in oncology. HealthPals looks at a similar kind of thing, and you'll see more and more of these companies. Here's the, by the way, Rajesh Dash and Sushant Shankar, who are the geniuses at Stanford, working with Bob Harrington, who I'm sure most of you have remember him from ACC, to create this company. Clint is another AI company in the United States, which is developed a way to look at current black box solutions that don't have great precision, to change them with artificial intelligence to create valuable insights that optimize evidence in new ways. And this is really exciting stuff. If we look at what's going on now on the cutting edge of imaging, we're using at the National Institutes of Health in the United States are looking at CT scans of patients who have been treated for other reasons, and looking at those scans to determine the presence of cardiovascular disease that wasn't even the focus of the CT examination. So this work is going on now, and we're learning that, in fact, AI can interpret CT scans with an amazing accuracy. And this is really exciting stuff that's going on, looking at vascular structures when CT scans were performed for other reasons, in many cases oncology or other kinds of things. And then finally, we're looking at the changing of unsupervised interpretation of echocardiographic imaging. Now, this work is being done again by the National Institutes of Health at a variety of academic centers in the United States. And I want to point out that it's a complex kind of process. So while echoes are going on, there's data process and acquisition going on using AI that develops feature detection, and it can see more detail than the human eye sees, because it has the ability to look in more detail. It then does feature reduction. It does a training data set, learns how to interpret better and better, and then uses a test data set to actually improve on diagnosis. So using existing echo images, this AI kind of sequencing event is really, really exciting. A company in Britain called Ultronomics has created a new system called EchoGo. The US FDA has now approved EchoGo for working with echo images in terms of determination of ejection fraction, left ventricular function, cardiac strain. It's being applied to millions of echo images, and is soon going to be available for actual determination and for use in echo determinations. Probably it will start with primary care doctors, but it will move in the future to become increasingly available for all doctors, including cardiologists. So I'll wrap up a little bit. This is an interesting area that we tend to overlook because we think of it as maybe too science fiction or something beyond what we're trying to do. Are we heading towards some kind of moment where machine intelligence becomes more intelligent than human beings, and we get replaced, if you will, by this kind of robot age? I don't think that's the case. And if you look at the radiologists, they're the ones who have had the most experience with this. Bibb Allen at the American College of Radiology makes this point that the AI has a potential to positively impact what we do here. He doesn't think that it's going to replace radiologists. He thinks it's going to improve and augment the skills of radiologists in the future. And I would quote somebody else, and the Stanford faculty looking at this. And when it comes to collecting analysis of data, software can do it better than a human being. But people there are saying they strongly believe in the value of having a human there to examine the patient. AI can be incredibly helpful to doctors. It can help us miss mistakes and look at more complex things that typically we've been able to do. But and it can work with enormous amounts of data that we're collecting. But it's not going to replace us in the future. It's going to help us be better clinicians in the cardiovascular space. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jack, for giving a very interesting talk on this. And let me thank you once again, but I would request you to stay back a little. And our minister is going to, because artificial intelligence has been a real thought everywhere, all over the world, and especially with COVID. And it's not an easy lecture you have taken. We have understood a lot, and a lot still understood. So may I request now, Honorable Minister, to throw some light on the World Heart Day. Can you unmute yourself, sir? Aapka mute. Hello.
बोलिए डॉक्टर गुप्ता जी।
हाँ बिल्कुल, मैं आपको एक 2 मिनट का समय दीजिए। इन द इंटरेस्ट ऑफ द ऑडियंस, वैसे आप सब लोग जानते हैं आपको, थोड़ा सा आपको फर्दर इंट्रोड्यूस करना चाह रहा हूँ। His political career started in 1990 to 96 when he was a Maharashtra Legislative Assembly Council member. 90 to 95, he was a cabinet minister. At this stage, a early stage, he was a cabinet minister earlier in the government of Maharashtra. And he was a member of 12th Lok Sabha from 1998 to 99. Then at that time, I think Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the prime minister. 98 to 99, he was a member of Committee of Transport. 99 to 2000, he was a member of Committee on Industry. 99 to 2004, he was a member of 13th Lok Sabha, second term. And 2002 to 2004, he was a member of Consultative Committee for the Ministry of Youth and Sports. 2004 to 2009, he was a member of 14th Lok Sabha, third term of the Lok Sabha. In 2004, he was a member of Committee on Transport, Tourism and Culture. Then he was elected to Rajya Sabha in 2014. He became the minister in the Modi government. And he was a member of Committee of Welfare of Scheduled Castes and Scheduled Tribes. And 2014, President member of Committee on Industry. 2014, President member of Library Committee, Freedom Fighter. 2016, President Minister of State for Social Justice and Empowerment. And he is re-elected to Rajya Sabha unopposed in 2020 for another 6 years, which will be till 2026. So welcome, Honorable Mr. Saab. हम लोग आपका कुछ शब्द सुनना चाहेंगे for public कोविड और वर्ल्ड हार्ट फेडरेशन जो कहा है कि वर्ल्ड हार्ट डे है, उस बारे में आप कुछ भी बोलें। आपके जो वाणी को हम सुनना चाहते हैं इस समय।
Thank you very much, Dr. Vivek Gupta ji. You are the very nice and very expert doctor in Apollo Hospital in Delhi. And today is the World Heart Day. And you organize this Indo-European conclave organized by Apollo Hospital through Dr. Vivek Gupta. And Vivek Gupta is also my good friend. And always we are meeting in my 11th Sabdaliang Road in my bungalow. And I am also very proud about Dr. Vivek Gupta ji, because Vivek Gupta is a very expert heart doctor. And without heart, we can't, our life is depend on heart only. And today is the World Heart Day. And we are also wearing the shirt. And the shirt is also giving the protection outside. But the heart is giving the protection to our body from inside. And therefore, heart is also very important. Without heart, we can't live from here or something. And therefore, today is also very nice, very important day. And Dr. Vivek Gupta ji, he told me that, and in about 10,000 heart operations, as he is also the expert doctor, and near about 10,000 operations, he is also working in Apollo Hospital. And today, Dr. Jack Lewin, and who will not be back. Who will not be back, his name is Mr. Jack. Jack Lewin is also from New York, from USA. He is also the ex-CEO of Cardiovascular Foundation. And today he has also given the very nice speech, very important suggestions through our Dr. Jack Lewin. And I am not a doctor, but I am also a doctor because our D.Y. Patil University has given me the doctorate now 3-4 months back, and I also became the doctor. And therefore, today is also a very important day, World Heart Day. And Vivek Gupta is organized this seminar. Many other workers are also give some suggestions, and I also congratulate all of them. And I'm not going to take your more time because our time is also finished now. And therefore, the Indo-European Conclave is also very important seminar today, organized by Dr. Vivek Gupta ji. And always I am with you. Anytime, any problem, I am the minister in Honorable Narendra Modi's domain. I am from Republican Party of India, and Republican Party is also only in India and in USA. The Republican Party is also in USA, and therefore I am also very proud that the President of America, President of USA, he is also from Republican Party, and Mr. Honorable Trump. Trump is also the President of USA, and I am the President of Republican Party of India. Therefore, I am very proud about you, Mr. Jack. And many times I came there because Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, B.R. Ambedkar, was studied in Columbia University. And many times, 7-8 times, I visited America, visited USA. In the Columbia University is also in the New York City. And Dr. Jack Lewin is also from New York City. New York is also the economical capital of America. And Mumbai is also the economic capital of India. Delhi is also our capital, and Washington is also your capital. But the economic capital is Mumbai and New York. And therefore, many times I visited New York, Washington, Miami, and many cities I have, and many Indians are there. I am also very happy that many Indians are also there in America, in USA. And therefore, many times I came there in Columbia University. In Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was there Babasaheb Ambedkar was when in 19 he was only 21 years old. At that time, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was he was taken the admission in Columbia University, and he was studied there in Columbia University. And I am also very proud that in Columbia University there is one Lehman Library, and Babasaheb Ambedkar was also sitting there to study near about 18 hours, 19 hours, 20 hours in one day. And he was also very strong man. He was also very strong student in Columbia University. And therefore in Lehman Library, there is one half statue of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Babasaheb Ambedkar, and Babasaheb Ambedkar's wife, Dr. Mahisab Ambedkar, Dr. Savita Ambedkar, and I am also present there when that statue inauguration was there in Columbia University Lehman Library, and therefore I am also very proud that I am the follower of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, and Babasaheb Ambedkar is also our great leader. He worked for all. He has written the Constitution of India, and Indian Constitution is the best constitution in all over the world. Our democracy is also very strong democracy, and therefore I am not going to take your more time. But Dr. Vivek Gupta ji, he is also organizes the function, and Dr. Athawale Gupta, the chairman of Indo-European Conclave, he is also present here. And always Dr. Vivek Gupta is also inviting me. And I am not a physician, I am not a doctor, but I know that the medicine is also very important for our life, and the doctors are also very important. Without a doctor, how can we take the treatment? Therefore, doctors are very important. And in our India, there is also many students are also very interested to take the admission in MBBS, MD, and therefore this is also very good thing. And therefore, I'm not going to take your more time, but all of you are present here, and on behalf of my Narendra Modi's government, I, as a Social Justice and Empowerment State Minister, I welcome all of you. I am always with you. Any time, any problem, you can come to my office, 101 Shastri Bhavan in New Delhi, and my residence is 11 Safdarjung Road. And second time, I am the minister in Narendra Modi's government. My party is not having not a single member of parliament in India, but Narendra Modi has given me the second time the ministership in his cabinet, and therefore I am also very proud about Narendra Modi ji. Narendra Modi is also respecting Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. Narendra Modi is also always taking the oath of Indian Constitution, and therefore Narendra Modi is also very strong Prime Minister. Therefore, and any your medical problem now, Dr. Vivek Gupta is also wanted to start one, hey, Tamre, kaya bapana to tu mother to. And therefore, I am not going to take more time, but Dr. Vivek Gupta is also going to start one big hospital in Noida. He wants the 50-acre land, and therefore, I am also trying to give him the 50-acre land from in Noida, and on 3rd October, I am going to Lucknow, and at that time, I will meet to the Chief Minister, Honorable Yogi Adityanath ji, and I am also helping to Dr. V. Gupta ji. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This day is also a World Heart Day, and this is only the way. This is only the way. Today is World Heart Day. Thank you very much. Jai Bhim, Jai Bharat. Jai World Heart Day. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister Saab. आपने जो 2-3 couplets सुना दिए English में, they were really amazing. And for the Jack, you understand, he's a president of the Republican Party of India, and your president, Mr.
Dr. V. Gupta ji.
Yes.
Now, Dr. Jack is in New York, or he's in New York.
New York, yes.
But when he will come to India, then he should not go back, whose name is Dr. Jack.
You will stay in India. You will not go back. You will stay here.
I always enjoy being in India. It's a wonderful place.
But you'll not go back now. This time you'll stay back here in India.
Very good.
So what I was telling him, that he's the president of Republican Party of India, and your president Donald Trump is a Republican Party representative and the president of USA. So both are almost equivalent if you see the name wise. And of course, he's equivalent to minister, and he's equivalent to any president of any country, and including USA. Thank you very much for your very nice words. And it was really interesting to hear from you. It was always, as always. He's one of those, Jack, I will tell you, he's one of those ministers who is really heard very well in the parliament. When he speaks, even Honorable Minister, Prime Minister, he always keeps having a smiling face, and he's very well heard all over. If you see his YouTube, you'll find a lot of things there.
I'm very honored to meet you. Very honored to meet you. Thank you very much.
Okay, so Minister Saab, are you staying back? We have one lecture left, or you will be? Okay, I think now we have to invite, thank you once again, Honorable Minister, Mr. Ramdas Athawale Saab. Now we'll invite Dr. Rakesh Gupta to finish off his lecture. He's waiting since long. Dr. Rakesh Gupta is a clinical cardiologist plus a very ace echocardiographer, and he is our personal friend for a long time, and he's going to talk about his personal experience with COVID. Let me tell you that as per the information coming, it's 5 minutes left. I would like you to speak a little longer so we can reconnect if you want, or if you can wrap up in 5 minutes. I don't know what is your planning. It's unfortunate that we have to do it again and again because of the Zoom system. So Rakesh Gupta, go ahead.
Vivek, what I'll suggest, let's close down the meeting over here. I'll rejoin.
No, I would like to listen from you. You are a very good speaker.
No, I'm not saying that. Let's rejoin because only 4 minutes are there, and that'll have a break. So you can close down the meeting and let's rejoin so that the lecture is finished in next 20-25 minutes automatically.
Okay. You want to close the meeting now, and then everybody rejoins.
Rejoins. That's what I'm saying.
No, at least you can start off now. When it stops, then we'll rejoin. You please start.
Can you see my slides?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Vivek, for giving me this opportunity to talk about this particular COVID and my personal experience in India during, before, and now in post-COVID times. This is what risk is not yet over. We are in stage 4 of unlocking and maybe in stage 5 in time to come. On August 27, 2020, on one single day, 7 physicians died in one single day. Let's see one by one. Dr. Vajpayee, Dr. Vakil Khan, and both of this couple of Dr. Vyas and Mrs. Kiran Vyas, Then we have Dr. Fadke from Akola. Then we have Dr. Jhansi from Vishakhapatnam and Dr. Gopal Shigar, very young guy and a very good friend of mine. He has attended our echo training program back in Delhi. And Umesh Khanapurkar. And all these people, they died on single one day in India. Next comes, this is a paper from 2000 to like 29th August 2020. Almost 87,000 people or health workers, they were suffering from COVID. And out of that, 573 people had died. And look at this graph from the same slide. Majority of these deaths, when the doctors they get infected, they had a very high incidence of a death. Almost 16% people they died, as compared to healthcare workers where it was only a 0.3%. I'm talking of a data of India. I'm not talking of, this is my personal experience which I have. And unfortunately, majority of these deaths were related in Maharashtra. That's the most unfortunate part. This is what the safety measures we published in Cardiological Society of India, Journal of Indian Academy of Echo, Cardiovascular Imaging, and Journal of Cardiology and Cardiovascular Research internationally. And this all work was published by us in India with collaboration with Cardiological Society of India, Indian Academy of Echo, Association of Physicians of India members. This is first guidelines published in CSI 2020 for preventive measures of saving doctors who are performing invasive, and this is meant only for non-invasive persons. Then we had a joint consensus guideline published from the first time in this continent, consisting of Cardiac Society of Nepal, Sri Lankan College of Cardiology, Bangladesh Cardiac Society, and Indian Academy of Echo together. And this is one we published. It is going to be published in Safety Measure of Cardiovascular Disease Evaluation in OPD during and after COVID-19. What's happening in India right now? Almost 1 lakh people are getting involved every day. And this is what almost 38 million people have involved all over the world. Indian incidence, almost 6.5 millions, 1 lakh people every day. And on top of that, this is what the daily cases, which is coming out to almost 82,000. Well, to say that what is all about, this all about means incidence is increasing every day. We are more careful than before. Situation is dynamic and evolving over a period of time. Hence, the guidelines are changing very, very fast. This is what we talked about Cardiological Society of India documents of acute MI care during COVID-19. This was published in Indian Heart Journal. And it categorically says that the incidence of coronary artery disease, those has significantly reduced, but we have to think like doing a primary PCI versus lytic therapy. And majority of colleges or majority of hospitals, they are opting for a thrombolytic therapy at that particular time. Then the position statement of heart failure with the Cardiological Society of India. It also the same thing that we have to take